the real thing that really took a turn for the worse that made everything really a lot more difficult was right after that week where you shared that, and someone that we don't know, but, you know, we put our lives out there so people can say, you know, we're influencers.
People get are invested, and then they like to let us know
so they can, you know, say what they want. But they took what Lydia said, and Lydia did not word it in the best way.
I was very sleep deprived, and looking back, I realized I shouldn't have said it the way I did. But in my head, I was just updating like all the people that have been asking how I'm doing, and I didn't really think much about it.
You worded it bad, but what was we were told, and we were still doing everything right. Feeding them. You were able to get sleep because we had help here. There was tons of milk in the fridge, and he was still eating every 2.5, 3 hours, no matter what. And someone made a post, I guess, out there on Instagram or whatever, and saying that we were neglecting our child, not feeding our child, and that you were not a good mother. We were having people emailing or DMing us in the comments saying that
the person basically told all of their followers to go call child services on me for supposedly not feeding.
Yeah, and
reaching out
and then after, the things that she did say, the person did delete those first posts about that, so she'll now claim that she didn't tell people to do that. But we had a bunch of people saying they're calling DHS on us because we're not feeding our child, and of course it wasn't true because we were doing exactly what the pediatrician told us to do. They say everything was right. He was very healthy, and
we literally had people here whose whole purpose was
just to feed him.
To make sure every time he makes a sound that he gets changed, fed, and held.
So then all of a sudden, like on my Instagram, on Lydia's Instagram, and she also is a photographer, so her phone number's out there. She was getting threats saying you shouldn't have been a mother. Go back to your country. You shouldn't have a child.
Because of all the deportation stuff in between.
Just cussing out and just saying terrible things.
It was so bad.
And this is a first-time mother that is doing everything she can. She has wonderful help, wonderful support. She has my mother that's had 19 children. Her mother's had 7 children. Mm-hmm. So we had a pediatrician that's telling us to do everything, and we were doing exactly what we were told. And I feel like that was the most stressful, and that sent you back into, you got sick, you got mastitis again, you're running a fever, and this is all
That's so sad
because of stress. And the next thing we know, we're getting phone calls from like Good Morning America, different newslet people saying that, do we have any comments on us neglecting our child and not feeding our child? And of course it was all untrue. And they even came out with the article. And in the article, they asked, a pediatrician, are they doing anything wrong? And they said, no, they're doing exactly what the doctor said. After we let the news article that, hey, this is not actually true.
We decided to respond on it. Usually we try to ignore the haters and not really respond, but that was like hitting the news. So we're like, we should make sure they know that.
Well, for 2 days,
that's ridiculous.
Lydia really couldn't get on her phone because I'm talking about.
I literally deleted every app off my phone because every time I went on there, it was just people telling me I'm a terrible mom. I shouldn't have kids. I'm abusing my kid. That I don't deserve to be a mother.
Go back to your country.
Which I feel like is the worst thing that you could say to someone.
Yeah, there's just the first
because
time.
Because I knew it wasn't true, but how am I going to respond to hundreds of thousands of people literally emailing me that I don't deserve to be a mother and I should go back to a country I belong, which that was its own little thing. But I was getting so much hate and people hating on me literally, A, being in this country, and 2, having a baby, which they claimed I didn't take care of. And I was like, my baby is so happy. I'm holding him.
Yeah.
I'm that's so crazy, but it was just so depressing, and I had just gotten into a good place, and then I ended up getting fever, I got mastitis again, and then it took a while for me to recover, and I was like, honestly, I have to fully get off social media and delete everything, and I didn't want, I was not answering phone calls because there's news people asking why I'm not feeding my child.
Which is sad.
And I was like, Trace, I can't.
It was
do it.
very untrue. Like,
there's so many people that are actually like out there being bad parents and doing like crazy things. I was like, why make up stories about me when I'm just literally doing nothing wrong?
Then the same person tried to compare you to someone that has abused children and was saying that you were similar to that.
There was a huge story around that time about someone who actually sent jail and actually really was an awful parent and abusing their kids. But I was like, why would you compare me to that? I literally, because, and then I got so much hate for having help. They were like, how dare you have help? You should be doing it by yourself. Don't make other people do it. And our pediatrician and all our doctors were like, the best thing you can do is have support. Like, even if it's a couple hours a day, have your mom drop in, because it just emotionally helps so much. Obviously, after a couple weeks, we had a good routine, and we were, like, at that point, knew how to do everything on our own and how to handle the lack of sleep so much better. But I feel like the biggest thing you can have is support and have your family, and it's a huge blessing, and it's not a bad thing to have your mom or whoever come over. It's also really sweet. They love seeing their grandchild or niece or nephew. Like, it's a sweet time, and it was insane. I can't believe that honestly happened.
I can't either, just because, like, you know, I feel like mama shaming is such a bad thing. And for a first-time mother that is trying to do everything right, that has wonderful help, that is doing exactly what the doctor said, that has a fridge full of breast milk, a freezer, has help over here to help him through the night, just so she could get sleep, because she was waking up every 2.5 hours, every 2 hours to pump. So Lydia was not getting a lot of rest herself. And to be able to where she could not even look on her phone because they were saying just all kinds of cuss words, and you shouldn't be a mother, and we're calling DHS on you, and all this stuff. Nothing we did was wrong, because we were doing exactly what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And even the news article, they actually came out and said something about, you know, they were not going to, you know, listen to the person that was reporting all this false information. We don't even know this person, never met him at all. And yes, I do understand that Lydia did word the story wrong in saying that he lost, because he did lose weight.
He did.
But it was very normal.
Every baby usually does.
Yeah, so I think Lydia probably could have worded it better to let everyone know.
It scarred me.
Yeah.
Since then, I still don't share a huge amount on social media, and I was really tempted in completely quitting everything. But at the same time, I was like, well, why should I let one hater just ruin like what I enjoy doing? Yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna step back and then Trace handle a lot of it for a while. But it was a hard time. And then I feel like just 2-3 weeks after he was born, it was so different. Everything got so much easier. All of the hate kind of disappeared. But I feel like it was really sad, because it's just such a sweet time, that first month with your newborn, and I feel like that was kind of in a way taken away from us, because we didn't really get to just have a relaxing experience.
But now that's like a blur for Lydia.
I don't like to think about it. I just kind of blocked that whole time out, and I feel like I'm very excited to down the road have another child and actually get to enjoy it.
About after 2.5 weeks after all of that, things, like Lydia said, started to die down. People started realizing that was not true. He was gaining a lot of weight. And then they were like, oh, he also has a lot. The same person said that in every photo that he had jaundice. And our pediatrician said, no, he didn't. He just he was very tan. So there's a lot of weird things that people just claim, that every time we go to our pediatrician, they're like, no, he's very healthy, he's very fine, you're doing a great job, keep up the good work.
We'd get so stressed, we'd be like, is everything okay? Like, are you sure he's not a little too orange? They're like, no, he looks great. We're like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. Every time they're like, he looks so healthy, you're doing everything right,